Hi, my name is Melissa. My pronouns are she and her.
And I'm Kaylee. My pronouns are she and her, and we're part of the McEwen Anti-Violence Education Network, or MAVEN for short.
So this week's topic is on relationship violence. In this video, we will define what relationship violence is, dispel some myths which surround it, and go into 5 different ways violence can manifest in a relationship. But just of note, some of the content we will be going over can be uncomfortable. So just a reminder to be aware of how you're feeling and prioritize taking care of yourself if you begin to feel like the topic is a bit much.
So let's start with the definition. The World Health Organization defines relationship violence as any behavior in a relationship that causes physical, psychological, or sexual harm, including acts of physical aggression, sexual coercion, psychological abuse, and controlling behaviors.
So even though most research is based on the dynamics of men abusing women, it's important to note that anyone is capable of abusing or being abused regardless of their gender or sexual orientation. So next we'll be covering some common myths about relationship violence.
Our first myth, alcohol and drugs make people more violent. In reality, alcohol and drugs can make existing abuse worse or be a catalyst for an attack, but it does not cause relationship violence. Many people use alcohol and drugs and do not abuse their partner, so it is never to be used as an excuse for violent or controlling behavior. The perpetrator alone is responsible for their actions.
So the next myth we'll be covering is if it was that bad, they'd leave. The reality is people stay in abusive relationships for many different reasons, and it can be very difficult to leave even if they want to. The abuse rarely starts in the beginning of a relationship, and it's more likely to begin after the relationship is established. The person experiencing abuse may be struggling due to lack of financial independence, or they may be concerned for their own physical safety or even the physical safety of their children. They may also be isolated from their social support network and find it challenging to reach out for help. So it's important to remember that those experiencing abuse are in need of our support and understanding, not judgment.
Our next myth is that relationship violence is a private family matter and not a social issue. In reality, relationship violence incurs high costs for society. Hospital treatments, medications, court proceedings, lawyer fees, and imprisonment, not to mention the psychological and physical impact on those who experience it. All too often, when somebody discloses their abuse, no one listens to them and nobody asks them what they would like to happen next. Relationship violence happens every single day all over the world. It affects people of all ages, gender, sexual orientation, class, and backgrounds. It is a serious, widespread crime. When we describe relationship violence as a private family matter, we minimize, condone, and permit it.
The last myth we'll be going over is that people are more likely to be attacked by strangers than those who claim to love them. The reality is, in fact, the opposite is true. So people are far more likely to be physically assaulted, sexually assaulted, and murdered by those known to them than by strangers. So in 2017, intimate partner violence specifically accounted for 30% of all police-reported violent crime in Canada.
Intimate partner violence can take many forms. It is important to understand the different ways in which relationship violence can manifest in the lives of individuals.
Well, one way in which relationship violence can manifest is through psychological or emotional abuse. This can include anything from name-calling and humiliation to isolation, intimidation, and manipulation. A common form of this is using the silent treatment to control or punish their partner, usually for doing or saying something they didn't like. It's important to distinguish the silent treatment from needing time alone to process after an argument or disagreement. The silent treatment is more abrupt and leaves the other person in the dark, feeling excluded, guilty, and/or confused.
Another form of relationship violence is physical abuse. Physical abuse is often thought of as involving physical pain or injury. However, it can also include behavior that causes a person to fear for their physical safety, such as reckless driving or interfering with somebody's basic needs, such as food, sleep, medication, or shelter. This is done with the intent to control and intimidate their partner. For an example, it is physically abusive for someone to refuse to allow their partner to sleep, perhaps by prolonging an argument well into the night.
Well, violence within relationships can also take the form of sexual abuse. This involves the violation of someone's sexuality or sexual rights. It includes sexual assault through coercion or by pressuring their partner to engage in sexual activity they aren't comfortable with. Some examples include using or insisting on unsafe sex practices, such as refusing to use protection, lying about its use, or secretly removing protection during intercourse. It may also involve any effort to demean or insult their partner's sexual performance or preferences, as well as, on the other end of the spectrum, refusing sex or affection as a form of punishment in an effort to control their partner.
There's also financial abuse, which occurs when somebody controls their partner's finances or limits their financial knowledge in an effort to control and maintain power over them. An example, which could have some overlap with emotional and sexual abuse, is using the amount of money spent or gifts purchased as a tool of coercion in order to get their partners to do what they want. Financial abuse can also include interfering with their partner's ability to work, refusing to contribute financially themselves, withholding child support payments, or neglecting to pay back borrowed money. This form of abuse puts the affected partner at risk of not being able to meet their basic needs independently.
And the last form of abuse we'll be going over is spiritual or cultural abuse. So this type of abuse involves using someone's spiritual or cultural identity as a means to exert control over them. It can look like preventing a partner from participating in their spiritual or cultural practices, shaming them for their beliefs and traditions, or even using those practices and beliefs as a means to manipulate and control them.
A common thread to note between all the different types of abuse is that they all involve exerting some sort of power over their partner. No one should feel trapped or unsafe in a relationship. If you or someone you know is experiencing relationship violence and need help, there are several local resources that can provide assistance, such as the Alberta Abuse Hotline and Family Violence Information Line. You can find links and more information about these resources in the video description.
Thank you for watching. We hope this video was helpful in providing some information on relationship violence. If you're interested in learning more, feel free to tune into the OSVPER Twitter and Facebook for information throughout the week.